Hey vinyl community, this is Rich and I'm here to talk about the great experience of the vinyl community meetup at Mike MGK Boston / Buffalo for 2026. I'm going to be throwing in this video a couple clips from the things that we did. I missed out on a couple of things because I was also splitting this trip with a family vacation, our first trip to stay over in Canada, because last year we were awed by Niagara Falls like anybody would be, but we could see from where we were that the superior view was on the other side, a little bit higher on the Canadian side. So we told ourselves that day that we were on the Maid of the Mist, getting soaked in the water, that next time we come back, we would stay at a hotel over there. And we did. And of course, the weather was very hot, as you would expect in July. And there were about 25,000 wildfires raging in Canada, so the air quality was pretty terrible. All the smoke really did affect the view from the hotel room. I have a couple of shots in the video that I'm going to share of that as well. On the last day we were there, the Sunday, everything started to clear up and we got to see some beautiful views. This was my second year attending the great party that Mike throws for all of us in this community. And this year we were lucky enough to be able to hang out at his home. Last year was pretty awesome as well, but this year was really cool. And you can tell that he was very happy to be throwing the party at his house. It was a great, great time. And so on a very hot Saturday afternoon, we did a quick walk from Mike's house to Black Dots Records, the same spot we hit last year, where I found a bunch of really cool stuff, and I had high hopes for the same thing this year.
You never know what to say.
That watching from the other year, that was one of my favorite.
Yeah, you totally turned me on to that record. Yeah. I only know the.
Yeah, this one's so crazy.
Oh yeah, man.
What did it?
It's calling my name. It's calling my name.
And because we were splitting this trip up into family fun and the vinyl community meetup, I had to miss out on a couple of things, which I feel kind of sad about, but everybody did have a great time. And we got to hang out on Mike's porch at his place, which was wonderful, and got a chance to hang out with the community.
Mike,
Mike.
Patty.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, yes, the chocolate. Yeah.
Mike, have you got some high-end bowls I can throw some of these
Yeah,
in?
give me a second.
Also was there for the Colton Awards, which were held in a little green belt area just at the end of the block where Mike and his family lives. That was a lot of fun. I did not win a Colty this year like I did last year. That kind of sucks, but that's how it goes. I think I know a way I'm going to be improving my chances to get another Colty Award next year. Colty, go. That's right. I'm not above bribery. So first and foremost, a big thanks to Mike and Patty for throwing the party. It takes an awful lot of trust and gumption to give up your house to that many people, some of whom are kind of strangers, although in this community, we do feel like we know one another, and it is a bit surreal to see people in real life right in front of you that you normally only see on videos on your computer or on your phone or your television of them in their environment, kind of the way I am now, speaking about these things that we love, whether it's music or books, movies, or any kind of art. It's pretty surreal. And not surreal in a bad way at all. It was just something. I guess you kind of have to be there to experience it. If you make videos, you're kind of just talking to your camera or your phone or your computer and seeing these people in real life and finding out that they're every bit as cool as they seem. That's pretty nice. Everybody was really cool and I had a lot of fun. You know, sadly, I did have to miss a few things, most of the evenings actually, because I went out to dinner in Canada with my family most of those nights, and those were the nights that there was the Friday cheers, and after the party I had to leave at about 8 o'clock that night, and things started really hopping around 9 apparently. That's how it goes. But I still had an incredible time, and hopefully I'll get an invite back again next year. And I am incredibly grateful to my oldest son and my wife for their forbearance in dealing with the things that I was doing while we were having this mini break over there, because we had just come back from a long trip overseas, and my son was kind enough to come take care of things at the house for the 3 weeks that we were gone in Japan and Korea. And we were back here for a couple of days, and then we drive up to the party. It's all been pretty exhausting, and we're finally just having everything calm down now, so I can make this video showing what I got at Black Dots when we went record shopping with the whole crew from the vinyl community. Also, love to send thanks out to Steve for the great t-shirts that he provided for everybody that showed up this year. They're just as awesome as last year's shirts were, so I am greatly appreciative that he takes that upon himself to do for all of us. Thanks, Steve. It is kind of funny to see videos from other members of the vinyl community that went to the party this year, and I am hard to find in some of these because I did take off so early. It's sad. But there is some photographic and video evidence that I did participate. I swear. I didn't pick up as many this year as I did last year, but I think I got some very quality things. The sale was incredible. There was, where's the flyer? Here it is. It was 10% off everything in the store. And what else? Half off all used under $10. And awesomely, strategically, there was a lot of $9.99 records that were in the bins that you could get a really good discount on. As you'll see from my stack, because I didn't spend a whole lot of money per album. And the first one that I'd like to share is the first one that jumped out at me from the bins. This is The Inner Circle and their debut album from 1974, Dread Reggae Hits. And this one is on the Star Apple logo from Jamaica.
Good to go.
And this is that super rootsy first iteration of The Inner Circle with Jacob Miller, the killer, on vocals. Sadly, he died in 1981, and I think the band did go on a hiatus and went on to great wealth. I surely hope they went on to great wealth for the song Bad Boys that the TV series Cops used for so many years. But that's not the Jacob Miller version. That's a more poppy version of reggae that you're going to hear if you buy from that era. But these first couple albums with Jacob Miller as the singer are very, very good. And normally I don't find myself being a fan of great reggae bands doing covers of American pop hits. Their version of You Make Me Feel Brand New from '74 was an international success. And they gained worldwide recognition from that. So I get the strategy. But their original songs that they have on this album and subsequent others are far more interesting than any of the covers they did. This is a good album, and because of the discounts, I think I paid $3 for it. So that seems eminently fair to me. I really like this one, and it's in really, really good condition. This cover's a little beat, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected. I've got a lot of questionable Jamaican releases, and yeah, this vinyl is pretty nice too, man. Like $3, this thing is a steal. I was very, very happy to grab this one. My only real lament was that there wasn't a larger reggae section there at Black Dots, but I get it. You got to stock what you can sell. I'm glad to have this. And up next was one I was fairly surprised to find that I did not already have, because I have a whole lot of this artist in my collection, and this is the Complete Health and Happiness recordings from Hank Williams. And remember that. Never junior, always senior. And to my knowledge, this is the first gathering of these recordings that Hank did for the radio show that was sponsored by some snake oil drug that was called Hadacol back in the day, that Louisiana Senator Dudley LeBlanc brewed up in his backyard. It was reported that he brewed it in big old buckets that were so large that he used a boat oar to stir it. And legend does have it that when asked about the ingredients, the man himself said it had just enough alcohol to make you feel good and just enough laxative to make you have a good movement in the morning. Nice.
Allegedly.
And this is a 3 LP in mono transcription of the performances that Hank did for that radio show pushing that snake oil in 1949. Yeah, I am a huge, tremendously fawning fan of Hank Williams Sr. So yeah, I was very happy to see this there. And at the discount, I believe this came out to just a little over $20 for 3 LPs of Hank. Yeah, I'll do that. Every day of the week. Twice on Sunday. And there are previously unheard by me versions on here of I Just Can't Get You Off My Mind, Long Gone Lonesome Blues, Lovesick Blues. What else? Lost Highway and There'll Be No Teardrops Tonight. This one's solid as hell. And I am self-aware enough to know that I can get obsessive about certain artists or records or certain other things. And this record is certainly one of them. I do love the content of the record. And I've spoken about this before because this is about my 5th or 6th version of Big Bamboo from Cheech and Chong. I love this record. I think The Bust and Sister Mary Elephant is hilarious. Let's Make a Dope Deal is awesome. There's definitely a certain market they were catering to with their records back then. This is a funny record, but as I have stated in other videos, and I'm not going to pull them off the shelves, but if I'm going to buy a new copy of this record, and thankfully it is a cheap record to find, it's just hard to find with the rolling paper intact and not covered with some kind of stains or something, because maybe 1 out of every 5 copies I find does have the rolling paper in it. Yeah, it's so often in just terrible shape, but this one is pretty damn clean. This might be one of the best specimens that I've seen in a couple of years. Yeah, so as long as they're going to be reasonably priced, I'm going to keep buying them in search of the absolute perfectly flat and unfoxed paper. I don't know if you can see on this one, but there's a bit of foxing there with age. And yeah, someday I will find it perfectly clean and I will be very happy and probably roll it up and smoke it. It takes a whole lot of herb to fill this thing up to make a respectable joint out of it. Yeah, I think with the discount, this one was about $3 or $4 too. So thank you, Black Dots, for contributing to my personal collection of drug paraphernalia. You're doing God's work. Just so much cool stuff and at great prices. Like the party just is at the perfect time for that sale to happen. And then there's the extra 10% that Mike gets for all of us just because he's Mike. You know, you give him 10% off because he's Mike. And you give his friends 10% off because they're friends with Mike. Yeah. And one thing I try to make sure of when I do get to a cool record store is to check the bookshelves as well as the bins. Because sometimes they will also have great books and magazines on top of also having great music. And Black Dots was no exception because last year I was able to find a Lenny Bruce CD box set that I didn't even know had been released, and it had been released many years before. And it contained some Lenny Bruce bits that I had not heard, which is highly unusual considering how obsessive I had been about listening to Lenny Bruce records and performances pretty much my whole life. So Black Dots already proved themselves worthy of me combing through the bookshelves. And this right here was kind of mystifying to me because I thought it had been misplaced on the bookshelf. It's obviously a 12-inch gatefold and it has Led Zeppelin on the cover. And I'm thinking to myself, which Led Zeppelin record is this? I mean, it's not a studio record, I know that. I'm a pretty big Led Zeppelin fan, so I know all the legitimate releases on site and actually quite a few of the bootlegs I can spot as well. This one didn't ring any bells. And this would not be an automatic disqualifier if it had been a bootleg double LP because Led Zeppelin fans know that's not a bad route to go sometimes. And you can see by the cover, this is a young Led Zeppelin right here. And opening up, it becomes even more apparent because the copyright date on this is 1969. And this is just a bunch of pictures of the boys after the release of the first album and performing through that year of 1969. And after a little bit of internet sleuthing, I find out that this is just what it is. It's a photo book of Led Zeppelin, contemporary with that release of the first record. And it was done by a firm called The Visual Thing Incorporated, put together by a couple of music executives. But they also released some posters and did a lot of concert photo books. And they did that for Jimi Hendrix, CCR, the Rolling Stones, and other contemporary artists at that time. And, you know, now I'm going to look for those things. And I'm really pretty pleased with finding this one. I did not go in there thinking I would see something like this, but I mean, that's the boys there before they took over the world. And this next one here is the first of 2 radio station promos that I was able to pick up while shopping at Black Dots. This one's kind of beat up, and I think I did end up only paying $2 for it, and it's very playable condition, so that's money well spent. And this is Philly Soul Stalwarts, Blue Magic with Magic Numbers. I'm more accustomed to the 1970s version of Blue Magic when they were doing some seriously great soul songs. I believe this one's a bit more disco. I haven't listened to it yet, but it is not the same kind of soul music that they were making in the mid to late 70s with the records that I have from them already. But for the price, I'm not going to complain. And this one came to Buffalo from WXKO in Fort Valley, Georgia. It's interesting to see how our records travel. Yeah, man, $2, I'll buy these all day. And now each time I've been to Black Dots in Buffalo, I've been surprised by some punk rock records that they have there. I'm pretty sure that that's a focus of theirs anyway, although it only takes up about 3/4 of one row. In the bins, there was some good stuff there. And there was I do regret walking away from near the register. They had a copy of Big Lizard in My Backyard from the Dead Milkmen on one of the pillars there. And they wanted 105 or 135 for it, which is just a little too much. It didn't have the original insert that would have really helped make that price make more sense. But walking away, I haven't seen that record in that good a condition at a fair price for many years. That was tough to walk away from, and I've thought about it a few times since. Yeah. But I was very happy to see this one in the punk rock bins at Black Dots. This is Gangrene with another Wasted Night. Their only release on the Tang Records label from 1986. Boston Hardcore in the Buffalo Bins. And if you're not familiar with the Tang Records label, it's worth looking into because they were a Boston-based hardcore, mainly a hardcore label in the mid to late 1980s that released some awesome music. And I had to look up to make sure the dates were right, but there was a stretch from 86 to 87 where they released Negative FX's debut. Well, they're only real, but that's a classic album. This one is another classic album. There was Hate Your Friends from the Lemonheads, and that one record from Jerry's Kids that had the guitar player from Gangrene on it. That sells for like $400 if you can find a copy nowadays. Very, very popular hardcore label, and finding these records in any playable condition is a feat nowadays. And this one is from KANM. And I believe, although I don't have my notes here, I think it's a college radio station in Texas, of all places. So yeah, we're going to have the call signs there, and there's going to be some cataloging things that they have on it, but I don't stress any of that. As long as the record itself looks great, and there's that Tang Records label right there for everybody. Call letters again in blue marker on that, but man, I'm not going to stress that. I don't even know if they played this record. It looks so clean. Not bad. Not bad at all. And I had to do some looking through my collection because I couldn't believe that it was true, but this is my first Boston hardcore record. And I don't think it's going to be my last. And this next one here is the last record that I did pick up at Black Dots, but it's one that's been on my want list for a long time. And it's not even rare, man. I just never see it. I think maybe when it shows up at record stores that people like me just snap it up really quick. And this is Spandau Ballet, the singles collection. And there's not much insight I can offer on them that most people that grew up in the 80s don't already know. Wonderful, wonderful songs. They sold, I believe, 25 million records and had like a dozen top 10 hits in the UK and a couple of everlasting classics here in the States. I mean, True, obviously, is going to be the one most people go to, but Gold, Only When You Leave, Communication, The Freeze. I mean, this is definitely one worth having. And like I said, I had looked for it out at record stores for many years and just have never come across it. And it was at Black Dots for $5 sticker. And then with the discounts and everything, I think I paid about $3 for this. And it's in brilliant condition. And it's on that awesome old Chrysalis blue and white logo with the butterfly. That takes me back. I think everybody who made the trip out there would agree that the trip to Black Dots was a great success. I think we all ended up with some really cool stuff. And I've watched pretty much everybody's video. I think I'm the last one, of course, to upload theirs. But everybody seems to have gotten really interesting stuff. So that's a success. And I think we did contribute a bit to the local economy. I know that I did. Oh, and also in those shelves where I found that Led Zepp photo book that I had shown earlier, I did find this. This is Just a Minor Threat. And this is photos from the great Glenn Friedman. If you're familiar with music photography, He's done iconic photos of Minor Threat, the Beastie Boys, and a number of other artists from the 80s and 90s. And this is just chock full of Minor Threat performance pictures. I don't know if you're going to get much with the glare, but great stuff. Classic pictures that I'd probably seen about half of these before, and the rest are new to me, but I was very happy to find this one. And as I was sitting at the bar with everybody showing this book, I was tickled to find out that Emma from 8 Vinyl Low had met Ian MacKaye at some exhibition. And of course, to no one's surprise, she said he was a sweetheart and a gentleman, which you would expect of Ian MacKaye. So I'm glad to have this one on the bookshelf. And right after I had made my purchases and put them in the bag, that's when the owner opened up the bar for everyone. And as is wont to happen when you gather in the back of the store there where the bar is, beer was being drunk and conversations were being had. And I knew once the beer was flowing, it was going to take a little extra time for everybody to wander off and go back to Mike's house. So I decided I'd stroll around the store. You cannot leave somebody like me without adult supervision in a record store. I do not really buy CDs. I bought that Lenny Bruce box set last year because it was a box set, and it was kind of a presentation like this Minor Threat book was. It was a hardcover and had CDs in it, which was fine with me. Took them in the computer, ripped them, and now they're MP3s. But I do not CD shop. And I do have apparently I have a lot of muscle memory for the sights of CDs, because as I was walking, I was recognizing the spines of CDs from 10, 20 feet away, and like, I know what that one is. I know what that one is. So of all the things that I have forgotten and cannot learn anew, apparently CD spines from Let's Go from Rancid and Hatful of Hollow from the Smiths I can spot from across the room. It's a gift. And so, with no intention of actually purchasing any CDs, I ended up buying this. You cannot leave me walking around a record store. I blame my wife. And this is Peter Gabriel's New Blood live in London. And this is a release from Peter Gabriel that I did not already have, which is really saying something nowadays. And this not only has the New Blood album, it's got the Live in London CD, as well as the Blu-ray and DVD of the performance, which I had seen years ago. I watched it on my desktop, but now I can watch it on the big TV in the living room. This also has an incredibly awesome photo book included of the preparation and the performance itself. And if you've seen this channel at all before, you know that I am something of a obsessive about Peter Gabriel's music. I was very happy to find this, and very happy to find it at a fair price. With the sale, it became even more so. And this project is a continuation of the previous album that he had done called Scratch My Back, which was all covers of his favorite artists. And eventually there was a companion album to that called I'll Scratch Yours, where other artists were covering Peter's songs, which it just took too long. I think he had planned to put them out together, but people were taking too long to get back at him with their versions of his songs. Oh. And again, I had to leave early that night to go have an incredibly awesome dinner at the hotel we were staying at. It was called the Brock, and it was right on that curve over the falls there, and our view was incredible while we ate dinner, so that was nice. Missed out on the Friday cheers and all that stuff, and that kind of sucks because those videos that people have shared look really fun. So I'm thinking next year I'm probably going to hang out a little bit longer and see what kind of fun we can have.
Nice.
And that is all that I picked up at Black Dots while we were out in Buffalo. I did miss the trip to Revolver, and I have been loving everyone's videos in the vinyl community that have shared the time that they had in Buffalo at the party. So grateful to be a part of this community where something like this can happen. And again, I would love to share my sincere thanks to Mike and his family for throwing this party and allowing all of us to congregate at his house. It is such a nice thing to do, and I'd like to let them know that it's very appreciated by me and everybody else. Finally, having this video done and being able to share it will allow me to get on and finish sharing my Japan vinyl finds that I've been wanting to do for a couple of weeks now, because I picked up some incredible records while we were in Japan and South Korea. I definitely want to say thanks to everybody for coming by, and I will see you in the next one. And this right here, fuck me. 2 books and fairly, and I'm trying to think. Black Dots has every blah 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 from this last trip. Fuck. And this thing right here, I was mystified. And this is Philly's. Fuck me. It's Cream and Credence Clear. Fuck. Okay. That I was able to pick up shopping at Black. Blah, 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 blah. No. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck. And Black Dots does have a fuck me. It was Boston. Fuck. I think I could have possibly go to the back record that I picked up at I can't. It's beautiful classic. From the vinyl community members that community fuck can enunciate. Another wasted night. Fuck. Everybody involved with the of that time kind of fuck. And we all had a little tripping over my tongue. No, of course we'll do it again. Shit. For Credence Clearwater... Fuck, why can't I say Credence Clearwater Revival? It's just going to be CCR. And when they were covering... Fuck. And I'm looking at this thinking, which record...